Depends on how you want to define giant, but you're absolutely right. You know, back in the 1980s, we had over 14,000 banks. National interstate banking legislation was passed in the early 1990s, which enabled these giants to be created. I don't think we'll ever see another $1 trillion in asset bank created. However, could we see banks with 500 to 700 billion in assets created from the regional banks today? I think we could. But to get to the giant size, the so-called GSIB size, you know, globally important, systemically important bank, I doubt we're going to see that kind of bank created.
In your coverage universe, which regionals, Gerard, seem to be on the hunt for some sort of acquisition? I mean, Fifth Third, there's a pending one, right, with Fifth Third and a bank out of Chicago, and that's sort of the biggest banking merger that we've seen in a little while.
You're right. That's probably the most recent and one of the larger deals that has been announced. It's hard to say which banks are going to want to merge or acquire other banks amongst the large regionals, because right now, as you've seen with the fourth quarter results, the banking industry is very profitable. In fact, this year should be the fourth year of record profitability. And what all the management teams are wrestling with today is the digitalization of banking. And as more product is delivered through the digital channel, there's less need for branches. I do think we will see big bank mergers. I do see big consolidation coming, but I don't see it happening right away. I think it's going to take another 12 months before it really starts to materialize.
Gerard, does it have to be the smaller players all banding together, or is there any reason why the largest banks in this country would buy regional exposure?
It's a good question, because there's an ongoing discussion. Can the smaller banks keep up with the larger banks when it comes to technological investments? Brian Moynihan's bank, you know, Bank America's CEO, who you just had on, they spend over $14 billion on technology. So you have to ask yourself, if you're a billion-dollar community bank, how do you keep up with that? So I do see the smaller banks continuing to sell out or combine with other smaller banks. They do have the personal touch, the local touch, that really sells their product better than the big, larger banks. But it is going to be a consolidation at all levels, in our opinion, over the next 12 to 24 months.